Hi guys, this is the video for the new campaign. We have now a new campaign template system. So basically we are be able to have different types of campaigns with different type of index pages. So to show you how this works, we're going to first take a look on the old campaigns. So I'm going to open here on my developer system two different campaigns. As you can see here, we have here is your account an idiot, and we have here another one, just a nameless one basically. If I open this one, then we can see here in the campaign details basically one new button, which is the template version, so the template for the campaign. There's no moment only two options. There's only default, which is the old ones as we noticed from before, and then we have a new one, which is the accountant version, which we have built new for Ben and the latest campaign. So I leave this now default for the moment, just to show a little bit more. Where if we go here a little bit lower, then you can see something I talked about in the previous video about the locking and unlocking. So if nothing else is configured, the campaign locks 21 days a new user free, obviously only if he uses his code. And here a little bit lower, we have, like before, the two links, one link with the intro video, the other one without the intro video. Nothing has changed here. So the old campaign continues the same way. If I open this here for test, then you're going to see here that the old campaign is exactly like before. First comes an introduction video, and once you continue here, you basically get to the normal page, the normal campaign index as it was before. Yeah, this is here now all empty. Don't wonder about it, because the old campaigns, they have all the special functions. So you guys remember there is basically an online and an offline version. So if you say online, then we have here only the welcome text. So if I just edit this welcome text a little bit, this is my welcome text. Just going to write something down here that we see a little bit more. And we're also going to have a little bit more sensible title. This is my test title. Okay, so then the videos, there's two different videos. There is a marketing video. This one would be on the first page. So again, I'm going to close this here. So I show this on the first page. What I mean with the first page is this is the intro from the campaign. So when we open this, there appears one video. And this video here is the marketing video. But then there's a second video, and the second video, I'm going to show you where this appears. This would be inside the registration page from this campaign. So we go back here, I go to the registration page from this campaign, and at the moment here is no video, but if I update this now, and I say this is a Vimeo video, you have always the option between YouTube and Vimeo, and in both cases you have to use the ID from the video in order to display this. So if I add here a video, I must also set an email for whoever gonna get this. I'm gonna explain this a little bit more, this email option, because it's part of the new campaign system. But for now, I just need this here. So I'm gonna update this campaign. Okay, just update it now. If we reload this page, our title and text supposed to change. Okay, you can see now the title has changed, the text has changed, and here's a new function which is called event video. So in our old campaign, we had always event videos. So if you want to use a special video for the event, then you can include this here. If you just delete this ID and you don't use anything here, and we update this again, and if you reload the page, then you can see that this disappears. Another option which you might already know or don't know, but I explain it fast. If you change the campaign style actually to a location style, then we have also another extra field there. So I'm going to do now two things. First, I add again the video, and second, we have now here a location option. So I'm going to use here something like a Hotel Milton, and I need any kind of location. Well, I'm going to use something, well, let's say, well, I don't know anything. Let's say here, Gold Coast 6 Orchid Avenue, Surfers Paradise QLD 427. This is just an example, of course, but I'm going to put this address here. Again, I'm going to save the campaign, and let's see what happens to the index. If I reload this now, this has changed now to a campaign index with a location. And you can see different things now. Number one, the video is again visible. Number two, we have an event date. So you can really set here until when this campaign page is actually active. And you see here also the hotel location in this case. And we have, of course, a map where you can see then the location. This is all parts of our old campaign index as it was before. So you might have seen something new here, but basically this was already all in the system implemented before. The lower area here includes some special parameters, the campaign default parameter. These parameters here, they are used to calculate the different predictions. You can change any of those parameters here. However, if you change them, you need somebody to approve the campaign first. As long as the parameters are default from the system, automatically your campaign will be approved. If you build here a campaign and you get here crazy on the parameter, what happens is that first somebody like a director or main administrator has to approve this campaign, otherwise it will be disapproved. So in this case here now, I changed some parameter and you can see they appear red now. And if you roll over with your mouse, then you can also see what would be for them the default. So you can see default 5, default 6, default 6 again. However, in this case now, this is auto-approved since I'm the administrator. We have here some main administrator functions, which only director and administrators can see. So you can, for example, you can switch it, approve, disapprove, you can disapprove this one, or you can manually or automatic approve them. This is another video about special functions and special permissions, so it's not for everybody, and I'm not going to go much lower into this. What else is different here? We have two more functions. We have manager emails and we have client emails. What this does is, usually if a user or if a client just registers, the system sends automatically two different emails. One email is a notification to the client manager, and this email you can enable or disable here. So if you enable this, the client manager will be always notified about a new registration. If you disable it, no email will be sent. And you can also do the same for the client emails. So you can enable and disable the client emails here. So he is not going to receive a welcome email. Be careful with this, because if you disable this function, this means that the user also don't receive his default password and his default registration email. So this is supposed to be enabled if you want that the user receives an invitation. Again, this might be in a different campaign, a different need. For example, if it's a hotel and would have a location, you maybe don't want to send registration emails or something like that. The function is made for this. If you talk about the campaign contact email, so this is something new as well. Before we handled this different, before it was simple, the person which basically owns the campaign also receives all the notifications and emails. Now we have two different things. One is the owner of the campaign. The owner of the campaign can be any team member. But independent of the owner of the campaign, which usually is the owner of the client as well, you can set now a campaign contact email. This campaign contact email will be used for all notifications. So you could have the situation that the campaign owner is one person, but somebody completely different is going to contact the first clients, so use just another email here. This is so far everything about the old style of the campaigns. Now we have a completely new style of campaigns. I'm going to show you how this works. We go back to the campaign overview, and we see here the new style of the campaign. I'm going to open this one now. The new style of campaign is called accountants. In the future, we're going to have more different styles, but right now the new one is called accountants. The accountant has mainly two completely new functions. Number one, for the accountants or for the account template, we have now a campaign logo. I just want to say that the template is called accountants doesn't mean necessarily that we can use this only for accountants. Basically, we can use this for any campaign where this type of campaign index suits better for the clients. So it's called accountants because this was not the first case, but it could be anything else. So to put here a campaign logo, you just click on the button campaign logo, and you can choose your logo from your local computer. And like usual, you can size, grab, copy this thing the way you want, upload this. Okay, this was the first part. Second, you have now here the campaign email templates. Why we need this? The new style has some extra, let's say, boxes with different functions once the user has filled out his FWC. I'm going to show you this later anyway in this video. But just to explain this already here, what you can do here is basically you can choose for these three situations different email templates. So we can go back and reset this here. The three different situations which a user can choose from once he's logged in will be learn more, live on track, and re-enter data. So these three email templates serve for these three situations. If the user clicks learn more, he's going to receive the email which you choose here. I'm going to choose here account campaign option 1. I'm going to use here option 2, and I'm going to use here option 3. Now you're going to ask where they're coming from. Well, you have the template editor already, or you have your template system already. There's also another video specifically about the new template editor. So I recommend to watch this video. Here I'm going to show you just short how this works. So I'm just going to open here my templates, and we can take a look what is happening here. So once you open your templates, you basically have here all the templates for WhatsApp, SMS, and email. Again, please watch the other video for the template editor. What I did already here is I made 3 default templates. So we have here account campaign option 1, account campaign option 2, and 3. And if you take a look inside, then we can see here there is not much in it. This was just my test here. But I have, for example, one, there's even an image inside. I'm going to open this fast just to give you a little bit more idea about it. It is important in order to choose those templates here, it is important that the type is always email and the permission is always global. Otherwise, the system has no access to this. So this cannot be a user template. It has to be a global one. Then you can give this template any name. You can give your template a subject. And this subject will be used for the email to send to the user. And you can use here, as usual, the template editor. Again, please watch the other video. There's everything explained how to use the template editor. You can do whatever you want here. There is absolute no limitations. So you can build your email template with photos, with text, and you can, of course, also use variables like the client name, dates, whatever you want to do, you can do here in this template. I'm going to close this, and we go back to our campaign page. So you need first to build the templates in order to select them here later for the different situations. This is actually everything which has changed here. There is nothing else to do in this moment. Everything else is default, the same like in the standard default campaigns. I want to short give you another introduction about the responsibles from a template. What we have here is on the bottom, you can see the campaign responsibles. So if you want to make sure that somebody else except the campaign owner has access to any of the campaign clients, you need to set the responsibles. If you click on this button here, responsibles, you get the options for that. So in this case here, there's nothing special defined. If we say here somebody new, we can just choose anybody from the team, like we take here Jean, and then we can give him any kind of responsibility. So he could be an accountant, broker, assistant. So let's say he gets the broker part. And I'm going to save this and return to our main page. So we go back to the campaign site. And now we can see that we have basically me as the campaign owner. And here on the bottom, we have as responsible a broker, which would be Jehan. This gives Jehan full permission for all the clients inside this campaign, as well as for me as the campaign owner. And of course, directors and admins have anyway access to everybody. So you can send here as many people as you want. Important is that you make them responsible for the campaign. So let's check out how a new accountant campaign actually looks. To do that, we're going to just click here on the link. The differences between the normal campaign and this campaign, there's only one link, because in this case, we don't have the index page with the instruction video. In this case, the client direct drops onto the registration page. So we open this now and we take a look how this looks here in real. Okay, it looks on the first moment, it looks similar, but there's a couple of important changes. Number one, here on the right side, we have now the campaign logo, which we don't have in the default campaigns. Number two, here on the left side, this area is fixed. So in a moment, since this is particularly made for accountants, the free ebook, the what is Wells called, all this is fixed and you cannot edit this. Then we have to set up another template if you would like to edit this. So we take a quick view how this looks. So the what is Wells goal opens a video. However, this video you can edit at any time. You can use another one if you just edit here again the links for the video. Remember, this is not the marketing video. In this case, it's the default video. The second important thing is, oh, sorry, this is the old campaign page. The second important thing is the ebook. So in this case, I click on the ebook and I go direct to the ebook. And the third part is the new contact page. So if I click here on contact, then we go direct to the new contact page. Here's also something important. You can see the email here is in my case Gara Sportiva Gmail. This email is exactly the email which you configure here in the campaign contact email. So if you want that this, in this case, for this campaign, another user gets the emails, you just change this to whatever you want. So we change this here to test 2, for example. I'm going to just update this. Okay, and now we're going to just reload here the contact page. And then you can see it now, it's test 2 who receives the emails. So you're very free to do this the way how you want. Now, what else is new here? In this new campaigns, in the new accountant campaigns, we send a client first direct to the FWC. So if a client registers new, he goes direct to the FWC. I think this was before the same. However, there is now a couple of internal differences. But important to know is the user fills out the FWC. I'm gonna simulate this now for you guys. Here with our Michael Jackson again. So once the user filled out the Let's Get in Touch registration here, oh, I'm sorry. Once the user filled out here the registration, he immediately drops direct on the FWC. Once he fills this all out, this is the usual, here is nothing changed basically. A couple of texts we changed, but nothing else. If you save this process now, then comes the new part. And I'll show you now what's going to happen. So he drops now to a new page, which is called FWC Compare. It's an adapted version of the Compare page, which we usually used. But since now the system is locked, the user is new, he gets a different version. Now, important is here the lower area. If I scroll now down, please pay attention to the lower area. So here's now 3 different blocks. Number 1, what you would like to do next. I'd like to learn about my finances. The next is I'm ready to get my life on track. And the next one is I want to re-enter my data. Here, what's going to happen now is exactly what we talked about with the email templates. Once the user presses here any of those buttons, depending on what you have configured in your campaign, here back option 1, option 2, option 3, the system going to send the template email which you have chosen to the client in the moment the user clicks the button. I might have set this a little bit complicated, so I make it easy. The 3 email templates which you choose for situation 1, 2, and 3, they correspond with these 3 boxes, 1, 2, and 3. In the moment the user clicks one of those buttons, the email will be sent immediately. So there is no message or there's no notification, but the email goes out. I'm going to simulate this for you now. In the case of Learn More, we get a small pop-up with our thank you text, learn more, a little icon for that. Now the user can basically re-enter his numbers, or he can go to the contact page. However, in the background, we send now this user already his email without his knowing anything about it. Important is also when you take a look here, for example, in this case, we say you have 7 days access to the system once you are enabled, once you are unlocked. And the 7 days is what we talked about before. If you go back to the configuration, then you can see for this campaign, we adjusted 7 days. So this number is the number which will be used once the user opens here this area. I'm going to close this again and we try the next one. I'm ready to get my life back on track. If I click on OK, we see it's a little bit different. It has a little bit green background because we just want to announce a little bit more, focus a little bit more on that. We get all the information. Again, the video in the background is already sent. The user has again the options to re-enter his numbers, contact, and a third option which is going to link to the Gold Parts videos. And the last option is start again. Even in this case, the user receives immediately an email, which would be then option number 3. I'm going to simulate this again, start again. Now I just go back to the FWC and I can basically repeat the entire process. If we are now taking a look here in my system, then you can see that I received here all these emails. This was email option 1, email option 2, and email option 3. So this is exactly what happens with these 3 emails here. This is very important that you adjust this correct. This concludes the video. Basically, there's all little details which you need for now. We might enter more in the future, but for now, this concludes the video. Bye-bye.